Welcome to another session of Women in Ethereum Protocol study group. And today we have Pooja with us. Pooja is a co-founder of WIEP and she's also the founder of Etherworld and EIPs Insights.com. Hello, Pooja. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Arunima. It definitely feels like coming back to home. So happy to see all faces around here.
We are so happy to have you here.
Very well. So in the essence of time, perhaps we can get right into the topic. Today, I suppose I'm going to have a talk on EIPs and processes around that. So let me quickly share my screen. I have a small presentation, but before we get into the presentation, I have been with the WIEP since the beginning. As Arunima mentioned, that I am considered to be a co-founder of it. I'm really happy to see the progress that we are making cohort by cohort. This is the fourth cohort, and we also had study group since cohort 1. So it is good to see more women getting involved. And I know there are some women who have stuck around for a long time and have kind of started contributing to the ecosystem. Mercy, who is the co-facilitator for this cohort, is one of those girls, those women. So I'm so happy to be here again. And I hope that this talk may inspire a few more women around to step in the Ethereum ecosystem and be able to contribute. With that said, let's get into today's talk. All right, so today I'm going to talk about how Ethereum evolves. Ethereum doesn't evolve by a decision made by someone in authority. It's a process. It's a discussion that takes place in the background in order to make decisions. And that's how Ethereum evolves. Every EIP, every public discussion, the testing, it is a combination and reflection of our community's shared effort to make the protocol better for everyone. So today's session is about EIPs. It's how we take an EIP from idea to evolution. Over the year, the EIP process has grown from a simple coordination tool into a living process that reflects our effort in order to make this decision. It is basically how we define an idea and document that to make it a standard, and that is very well tested through different process, finally implemented on Mainnet. So on a high level, it definitely involves idea, which leads into EIP. It's specification that we are taking into activation. There is a process of coordination and consensus building around that. And we take it to Ethereum mainnet. So we definitely have a roadmap around how these upgrades takes place. So we are going to cover all these in next few minutes in this conversation here today. In the beginning, I was mentioning that this is the fourth cohort. So I had an opportunity to talk to cohort 3 as well. And in my discussion, in my presentation with cohort 3, I have covered the basics of EIP. So people who aren't aware may go back and follow the recording from that session. So I don't want to spend too much time on the things that has already been discussed, but on a very high level, in the previous conversation, we discussed about what is EIP, how EIP is documented, what is the process, different types and categories, what is the process for core EIPs, and also the role of people involved in decision making. So please go back and check out the previous discussion. We all know that the beginning of EIP happens from a simple idea that these days being documented at ETH Research Forum. ETH Research Forum is just a place where anyone can come with an idea and share that with the community to collect some feedback, what they think about it. Once that idea is well vetted, it moves to Ethereum Magician to maybe formalize into specification form, get some more community feedback in order to figure out if this is a very good idea to take it to the EIP draft status. So when we have an EIP, what happens after that? In the previous conversation, we learned that if a proposal is core proposal, that is something that is considered to be for a network upgrade. So it has to go through different stages. The first stage of testing is called DevNet. DevNet is basically developer's testnet. It's kind of ephemeral testnet that's not going to last longer, can be reset very easily, and that is specially created on a request of client teams. So the client teams are the main people who would be using that developer's testnet. It is to test one EIP or maybe a set of EIPs. So you may have heard about PeerDaaS DevNet. You may have be listening to the ACD conversation and could be learning about the BALS testnet and DevNet and maybe EPBS DevNets. So these DevNets can be EIP specific, but you may also have heard about Fusaka DevNet. For Fusaka, I think we have 4 DevNets so far. Something went wrong with DevNet 4, so they rolled back to DevNet 3. But that's the idea. As I said, that we see these DevNets ephemeral. It can be reset, nuked easily. And we see this is heavily managed by a dedicated team called ETH Panda Ops. And there are a few other testing teams involved who are supporting these DevNets in progress. By the way, there is a dedicated call for people who want to follow along. It's called ACDT, All Core Dev Testing Call. So you will find information about ongoing DevNets in that call. And it's not only limited to DevNet, it includes other testnet and the preparation towards the mainnet. So the next goal is to go to the testnet. So testnet is more public version of it. So for DevNets, we were only having participants as client developers, but here it's not just client developers, it's community as well. Community meaning here the ecosystem projects which are running on top of Ethereum, maybe to support Ethereum, and are kind of stakeholders and supporters of the Ethereum ecosystem. So you could see that there are some layer 2 projects, there are some tooling and infrastructure projects. They also test their upgrades on these testnets, and that's why it's called as public test networks. Here I have listed 3 names: Sepolia, Holsky, and Hudi. Holsky is now deprecated, I think, as of last Friday. That has been deprecated, so people can actively use Sepolia and Hudi test network for testing their projects. As we see these testings going in the background, these are not limited to these 2 DevNets and testnets only. There are many more testing that is going on. There are shadow fork testing. There are other kinds of testing that people do. There are a lot of benchmarking going on in the background. And after battle testing all these proposals are finally deployed on the Ethereum mainnet. We do have a guideline around how do we decide transition from one testing to another testing. How do we come to the dates for these testing as well as mainnet deployment? So these information are easily available, and it's highly recommended to go back and check it out if you want to get more involved. These information are made there in order to make sure that people learn about it in advance, and when they are running nodes, they are in sync, because when something is changing on Ethereum mainnet, it involves a huge amount of money. It's a multi-million-dollar ecosystem. So when we are talking with money, we should be very mindful of having more people informed in order to make sure that we are not leading towards fork, we are leading towards a unified consensus. So that's all about how we test these proposals, how we deploy these proposals. But these testings and deployment also goes back and forth in terms of decision making. The EIP selection, which all EIPs should be selected. There is a process that is defined by EIP 7723, which is called network upgrade inclusion stages. So the first stage there is proposed for inclusion. So proposed for inclusion is something that anybody can propose their proposal, and that proposal is taken for consideration to the core devs meeting. Like first that proposal is presented towards the core devs, and they want to get a temperature check of the idea of accepting this on the mainnet. So the decision making happens around this process that, as you can see on the screen, it involves different parties. Core devs or client devs are definitely the most important one, because they have to ultimately implement these proposals in their client. These changes are made with the help of PR on the GitHub repositories. There are 2 different kind of meeting: for ACDE, that is for execution layer, DC that is for consensus layer, and based on these meetings, we select EIPs. Fellowship of Ethereum Magician is a place where we go and share our thoughts, especially with respect to community's feedback. Like if we want to say something about a proposal, say for example, you are a project developer and you are running a project on Ethereum mainnet, and with the next upgrade, there are some changes which may break your project, then that's where Fellowship of Ethereum Magician may help you. You can go and write it to the author to let them know that this is going to affect, and may you want to consider spec changes. These meetings are also organized with the breakout room meeting because there we have EIP specific discussion happening. So you can talk to author via Fellowship of Ethereum Magician async, but if you want to go actively talk to people and client dev, letting them know what do you think about this proposal and what are the ideas in order to make sure that it does not break any of the existing projects, I think people should join the breakout room meeting, and all these meetings are public. So this is how we make consensus. It's not that someone someday stand up and say that, okay, I want to get this proposal in, and that will be considered to be in. Next come up as the coordination to consensus. So as you understand, there are so many parties involved. Yes, Claire?
Yes, I would like to ask, can anybody create an EIP, or is it just the core dev team?
Anybody can do that.
Thank you.
The process just suggests that this proposal has to be considered for upgrade inclusion by the core dev, but it can be any individual. So we are looking into the coordination process, like there are consensus to be made. And on Ethereum, there are two layers. One is called consensus layer, one is called execution layer. And on both layers, we have 5 or more clients there. I have to go back, check the count of it, but definitely 5. So for each client, we need to see that if they are comfortable implementing that proposal in their client, because we want all Ethereum clients to be in sync in order to run them network successfully. So we want to have every parties involved, and we want to make this decision, make this consensus based on something called as rough consensus. We want to make sure that at least 3 clients are open to the idea, open to implementation and testing of it, and then we will try to have all clients get some references and get that implemented in their client as well. There are times when we get into a situation when it is not easily solvable, like the proposal is contentious and there are 2 different parties involved and both parties are strong enough to weigh in for that proposal. In that case, we have to take alternative paths. I did mention about a scenario where, say, a proposal is breaking someone's project. In certain scenarios, we want to get more detailed into it. We want to get into audit. We come up with some bounty program in order to ensure that whatever is there is not breaking. People can experiment with that. We sometimes create that network is called attack net. So that is especially meant for people to break it, and that's especially meant for testing. So we try to come up with all different ideas into consideration that whenever the proposal is deployed on the mainnet, it works as expected. There is something called as versioning. This is a proposal which is currently in stagnant status, but it seems to be something nicer and people are looking into it. This versioning proposal may also help the testing team. So we are hoping to have more discussion around this proposal, and perhaps one day we can see it on Ethereum EIP's repositories. Next comes the roadmap. Now we have EIP, we have implemented it in clients, we have gone through different consensus phases, and we have also gone through different testing of it. Now we want to have it on mainnet. Ethereum has multiple upgrades so far. Earlier, it was only proof of work, but after the merge back in 2022, now we have proof of consensus and we are moving forward from there. I haven't put all the upgrades name over here, just the relevant ones in order to continue the conversation here. So the last upgrade that we saw was Spectra upgrade that happened back in May 2025. And the next one that we are expecting is Fusaka upgrade that is expected in December 2025. As of today, it was decided in the all core dev meeting that this upgrade will happen on December 3rd of 2025. So we are going to have this upgrade very soon. So stay tuned to get more information about it. There would be blog posts coming out from Ethereum Foundation website, and there would be client releases for the nodes if you are running it as a validator. The next upgrade is called Glamsterdam. Today, we also discussed about the proposal that should be proposed for inclusion. So the PFI proposals as well as some CFI and SFI. I know these terms may sound too much to learn at first, but I would recommend to go back and check EIP 7723. There you will get what these PFI, CFI, and SFIs means. I'm happy to answer any questions after this presentation, but that will also give you some more information on why we use these terms. Today, In the discussion, we also decided the name of the next upgrade. That is a very interesting story about it. The next upgrade after Glamsterdam is Heka plus Bogota. So it could be Hekota. I don't know yet because there is no final decision, but definitely we selected the H letter star name. So that suggests that it's going to be something with the Heka star and Bogota, the city where one of the DevCon event happened. So Fusaka, which we are expecting soon. Fusaka is a combination of Fulu and Osaka. Fulu is a name of a star which starts with letter F, and Osaka is one of the cities where the earlier DevCon event happened. So based on cities, we select the name of the execution layer upgrades, and based on star, we select the name of consensus layer upgrade, and we do come up with a combination of that at the end of the day in order to rename an upgrade that goes on Ethereum. So Fulu plus Osaka, we have Fusaka, which we are expecting. This Fusaka upgrade contains 9 core EIPs, but you will also find a list of 4 other EIPs. These are not core EIPs, so may not be directly deployed on the chain, but these are also required in order to run the chain successfully. It could be networking, it could be informational, and it could be different type and category of EIP. So please go and check out EIP 7594, which is the upgrade meta. So there is very special thing about information sharing. Ethereum people always share the name of the EIP that contains the list. So you don't have to go EIP by EIP, but just go check out the one meta EIP and you will get all information written down over there. As you can see on the screen, we have a Halsky, Sepolia, and Hoodie already deployed, and Mainnet, I think I should have updated this, is going to be 3rd of December. In order to share more information about these upgrades and the proposal included in these upgrades, we try to publish some form of podcast, you can say, that gives a high-level overview as well as technical overview, both. So for technical overview, we do Peep and Eep, where we invite an author. The author explains each and every proposal. Like on screen, we can see 7823. So we had invited Alex and Radek to talk about the proposal. They are the co-authors of the proposal, and they explained what changes are going to be seen on Ethereum mainnet with these proposals. Similarly, we have started another mini series called the Fusaka Files, and there we are going to cover the enterprise use cases and the utility of that proposal in real world. So it's not about technical specification, it's about just what it means in simple words to simple people who are using Ethereum on a daily basis. So highly recommend to check out both these podcasts to learn and stay updated with the next upcoming upgrade. If this inspired you so far, I would highly encourage you to come and help us. Ethereum works with all of us. We are here to take Ethereum forward. So we hope that you meet us somewhere. There are multiple avenues. I think I have listed a few meetings which are open to public. Please feel free to join either virtually, like they are all streamed, so you can join virtually, or there is Zoom link shared, so you can also come join us on the call and share your ideas, thoughts in order to make this process even more robust. Next. Yep, that's my favorite saying. Ethereum isn't a finished product. It is a living process, and everyone has a role to play. So I look forward to have all of you one day around to learn and may be able to contribute in the Ethereum ecosystem. Thank you for listening, and I'm
Thank
happy
you so
to
much,
answer any
Pooja.
questions.
Yes, so if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask. This is a wonderful chance to know more about EIPs because Pooja has been working for a long time with the EIPs making process. So yeah,
I'm trying to take a look at the chat. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention then. But if there is anything, please feel free to open your mouth, and I'm happy to answer.
Hi Pooja, Devisha this side.
Hi, Devisha.
Thank you so much for this amazing presentation. It added a lot of value, I think. I just was a bit lost when you said we can join the Zoom meetings and there are open the meetings regarding Ethereum. So where can we find those? Is there any link or something that?
Yeah, so there is a protocol calendar shared by Ethereum Foundation. If you can subscribe to that Google protocol calendar, it provides you the Zoom link every time there. And you can also check out github.com/ethereum/pm. There we list upcoming meetings agenda. So for every protocol meeting that happens in Ethereum ecosystem are listed over there. You can find the Zoom link right over there as well.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for all the warmth you guys are sharing right here. Last question means my presentation was good or simple to you people. I really hope that you guys have already learned about the execution specs and specific and consensus specs from the previous class. Those were there in this cohort. So if you have any further question, I'm sticking around here, as well as you can also reach out to me on Discord. I'm there on WIEP Discord as well. Thank you, Deborah. We look forward to have you contributing to EIP. And by the way, I really appreciate Mercy's contribution. I know she has been sticking around for about a year, or close to a year, over 6 months. She has been contributing as a reviewer so far. We look forward to have her join as editor one day. I'm not sure today is the day, but definitely one day. I think she can also be a person who can share her experience in order to encourage more women to join this world of EIPs and reviewing.
Hey, Pooja, do you mind putting the dev Zoom link on the chat so we get it?
I'm going to share the link of GitHub where you can find every meeting's agenda, and in agenda you can find the Zoom link directly based on your interest. By the way, there is also something called as office hour that happens every Tuesday at 1600 UTC. This office hour is especially for EIP documentation and reviewing. So if someone wants to just sit in the background and want to learn about the process, learn how documentation happens or is being reviewed, that is another good venue. I see a question here on chat. So the way you contribute to EIPs is by reviewing. That is definitely one way. And reviewing is also happening in multiple ways. So you can help review a proposal by being an SME for that. If you have a command in that language and you are in a position to understand that code's going in there, you can review the proposal and leave your comment to authors in order to help support that proposal move forward. Otherwise, there are editorial reviews that can happen as well, just to make sure that every typo and every grammatical errors are removed. We also have a definite format of EIP, which we use as EIP template. We want to make sure that anyone documenting the proposal abide by that template. So there are multiple forms of contribution, any way you want to help and support. I suppose this is going to be the shortest call for us today.
Sorry. Hi, I have a question too.
Mm-hmm.
You, Pooja, for being here. I come from the Polkadot Kusama forum, and I'm used to these proposals where people like creates a project and they ask for funds or things like that, or maybe builds something around the network and then they ask for funds because they did that. Is that how the Ethereum forum or Ethereum research, I think it's called, works? And also another question is, how big is the scope of these EIPs? Like, because you mentioned that in this last update will be like 9 IIPs, right? The question would be, how big are the problems that each IIP resolves?
All right, so I see 2 questions here. Let me take one by one. So the first question was around funding projects. So ETH research forum that we have here today is only for sharing the research idea. Researcher may or may not be an EIP author, because research idea is on the high level of how the process should work. They do not deep dive into the code or the specs part of it. So the research forum is just for that. If you have any project idea on shared on ETH research, I am not sure if that can be funded directly by ETH research, but if you have an idea, my recommendation would be to go to ESP, Ecosystem Support Project. What is that? Okay. Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. Let me quickly confirm that. Is it ESP?
I think it's program, right?
Yeah, ESP Ethereum Foundation. Yeah. So ESP Ethereum Foundation is a ecosystem support program. Yeah. They fund your project ideas, like anybody's project idea. There you can go ahead and submit an application about the project that you think might work and support Ethereum ecosystem. They have different categories to select, and based on those categories, there are grants. So may you take help of that. The next question was, how many EIPs could be included in an upgrade? This is very interesting question because there is no limit to that. It depends upon the client team to be considering that for working in one upgrade. Again, this is something that is also depending upon the complexities of these proposals. I'm quickly trying to take a look at the page which suggests that how many proposals have been there since inception. Let me quickly take a look and I can share the link with you people. Yes. So this one. Okay. So if you take a look here in this page, you can see that, or maybe I can share my screen. That would be helpful as well, so we all can see it together. So this team has beautifully listed all the EIPs since Frontier upgrade. Frontier was the first when Ethereum was launched, and till date. So if you can see, there is no fixed number of EIP selection. It is updated till Petra because Petra was the last upgrade that we had. And now we are going to Fusaka. Glamsterdam has 37 proposed for inclusion. So just imagine the volume of EIPs that we receive, right? And not all of them is going to be selected. So some of them will end up, this is inclusion status. So the things that you are seeing in red are declined for inclusion, like they will not be considered for the upgrade anymore. Blue and any other color here would be continued in the conversation. So yeah, there is no end limit for the consideration. It totally depends upon the agreement of client teams. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you. It's more about curiosity because I'm not thinking about proposing anything, but thank you.
Well, no worries.
Hello, Pooja. One of the questions that I've been receiving from a lot of participants through text is like, if you don't have a background in computer science, the client languages gets very difficult for them to understand because they are the real implementations and it's not so easy to understand. So it would be great if you could share like what are the other ways that people who are not from a computer science background or not much in good at coding, how can they contribute to the ecosystem? Because I'm sure there are many people here who are very interested, but the client implementations look a bit scary, but they are very interested in contributing. So can you please share a few points for them, like how can they get started contributing to, and what the other parts that they can contribute to?
Yeah, I think we started Ethereum Cat Herders with the idea of including people, onboarding people to help support the Ethereum ecosystem. They don't have to be technical in the first place, but we were trying to explore other avenues. So earlier, when we started Ethereum Cat Herders, we used to document notes. So we don't need technical expertise to document notes for any public meeting. But now that there is AI, we don't need to document notes that much. But still, with the help of these notes, you can create content. You can talk about these proposals and share information. Try to put them in like ELI 5, simple and plain language that people can understand and learn about it. We can talk about any specific domain. I have seen many women around application layer. They are like too much into designing, so they come up with new ideas of NFTs. There are different kind of projects where they can come up with like gaming ideas, right? So there are so many ideas. We don't have to make a technical project, but we can find jobs around technical evolution that we are seeing in Ethereum ecosystem. On my mind, I think content creation is one of the simplest thing that people can take if they have understanding, even if it is not too much technical into the weeds.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Did I just hijack this? You just talked of content creation. You mean like I should understand this and then I create content around it, like video content, or write about it?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I meant. That's what I meant, because we have different kind of users. Like whatever EIP does is highly technical. We don't have to teach everybody the technical part of the EIP. There has to be a normal user part. For example, we are going to have a proposal in Fusaka upgrade that is going to decrease that is going to set an upper bound of the gas limit. So what this gas limit will do, it will make room for more transactions to get in. Now, people don't need to understand that how it happens, but if they know that there is going to be less of their wait time to get the confirmation of the transaction, that's what mattered to them. So we need to find the content based on our target audience. If we are making it for college student, that can be educational in terms of like how they can onboard, how we can make it easier for them to be able to contribute. And if we are making the content for people who are simply interested in transaction, then we talk about the dollar value up and down, what they are going to get with respect to this upgrade.
Actually, this is so beautiful what you just said. But also, I'm asking, there's some, I love writing. There's a point I need to write about it, but I was asking myself, is it permitted for me to write about it? Are you sure it's not the insider work? Like maybe some information is private. How is that? Please clarify more of that.
I think the best part of Ethereum ecosystem is most of the information is public. I barely would understand if there is anything inside, because we want all our clients to work in lockstep. And for that, there has to be a place where the information is being disseminated. We need to find out the right avenue from where we want to collect what kind of information. So if something is related to meetings, you can find on ETH R&D Discord channel. Now on ETH R&D Discord channel, there are different channels, each dedicated to one particular kind of discussion. So for example, if there is EPBS related discussion, so there is an EPBS related channel and all of the information can be found over there. You just have to go there, ask a question, and people will be there to respond and answer. Unless that is a client specific, even though client specific, that is open source. So people go and check the code base. So there's, as much as I understand, there's not much that is hidden, and the information, those are public, should be good enough in order to enable people to be able to understand that concept.
Wow, thank you so much. That's beautiful. So you know how when you contribute and keep going, certain opportunities for contributing are paid. So how would content writing be paid by Ethereum Foundation? Maybe how is content creation or content writing be tracked and maybe be paid? How would I get that opportunity to write and be paid?
That's a very good question. So I mentioned about this ESP grant. So ESP grant enables people to do so. So if you have an idea, if you have a particular topic in mind for which you want to continue writing about it, I suppose you should make an application to ESP grant based on your domain and the idea, how niche it is. They are there to support. However, I feel like if you want to start it from your own, you can definitely start looking for grants and other options. Those are available, but you can start on your own, keep sharing your content on Twitter and Discord, and those are generally picked up. If that is picked up, then ESP is not the only avenue for you to get a grant and continue your work. There are many other public goods funding projects. Octant, for example, is one. Recently, Octant had this content creators grant round, like they were inviting content creators, media, videos, as well as text, whatever you are doing, you can make your application over there and apply for the grant. And it is a good idea to showcase some of the work that you have done in the past and is related, definitely a bonus. All right, I see a question here, Rohima. Do you have any advice for someone who wants to work in a particular part of the Ethereum protocol? How do you think the person can go about it? I did mention about ETH R&D Discord. So ETH R&D Discord is a very good place where you can find developers, all of the developers actually, who are engaged in Ethereum protocol development. And there are other community participants as well. But if you are looking to participate in a particular section of Ethereum protocol, you may want to pick up a channel from there. And even if you land up in the wrong channel, no worries about it. Just let people know that you are looking for someone who can help you get started with this particular thing, and they will direct you towards the right channel. So the beauty of Ethereum ecosystem is you can find things very easily. You just have to go to the place, any place you find one Ethereum person, and that will guide you towards the right Ethereum person whom you are looking for. For example, if you land up in ECH Discord, then we will point you towards who is the right person or right project team member in order for you to be there.
have another question, please. Talking about the high cost of gas for Ethereum and layer 2 now coming in to decrease that cost. Like, how related are layer 2 networks to the main Ethereum? Does creating a layer 2 solution for Ethereum directly affect the Ethereum? Because I was checking the performances of Base network and this I remember this token, a very popular Ethereum layer 2 token that was not doing so well. I don't know. Ethereum has been doing well so far, but then layer 2 blockchains do not really do well, even though they solve the high cost of gas. So I just want to know the relationship between the currencies and how it affects Ethereum.
I am not sure if there is a direct relation of currency value. What we are talking here is all about blockchain. I can see some kind of interdependency among layer 2 and Ethereum, but I don't see a direct relationship of the dollar value of token of layer 2 with respect to Ethereum. So I can share this with an example that with the next upgrade, Fusaka, we are going to see a proposal called PeerDaaS. Now, PeerDaaS is like a data availability sampling that is going to make data available for layer 2 way more easier. Right now, the gas fee in terms of dollar on Ethereum network is higher than layer 2. Layer 2 is in some sense. So they are very low with respect to Ethereum. Now with PeerDaaS, it's going to be even more cheaper. That means the transaction cost is going to go even more lower than it was earlier. But I do not see a direct relationship of this gas cost and transaction cost with respect to the token value. So I would say that they are pretty independent of each other.
All right, thank you.
Yes. Pooja, before we end this, since no one's asking this question, I'm just gonna go with it. Can you give us your background story, how you chose Ethereum, and why you're currently focused on EIP? Yeah, we'd just love to learn about your story.
It's a very interesting question, and I'm really happy to share this because this is a group of women. My story was like any other woman. After maternity, I took a break from my regular work. Earlier, I used to work for Accenture, but after delivery of my kids, I took a break trying to raise them. And when I came back to look for a job, I could not find any job in the ecosystem because that was Web 2 world. They wanted experience. People do not generally accept if people have a lot of gap in their professional profile. Definitely, we have to prove ourselves. But in the meantime, I found Ethereum. I think I had a talk that I would maybe able to link sometimes. I gave a talk on how I joined this ecosystem in ETH Tokyo. No, it was not Tokyo. EdCon, yeah, EdCon event. So basically, I was looking for something. I was introduced to Ethereum. I loved the concept, and I sat down and started watching a lot of videos. That was around 2015, 2016. Ethereum was new, and I was trying to learn. But as I got deeper into it, I found that it is interesting and it could be helpful for many other people. So I started writing about it from my website called Etherworld. That was my first blogging website, and it was simply what I watched in the video of Vitalik, Vlad Zamfir, and other developers. I used to just put it in words for people to read them. And I started learning more about it, got involved. People were looking for someone who can help with notes. I started with writing notes. So yeah, these are my stepping stones. Just writing it down, then contributing with notes. Then I learned about EIPs. Then I started this PeerDaaS, got involved with EIP governance part, so on and so forth. So it's like you just need to find what you are looking for, and then you'll find your own way. I think I have a long talk. I can perhaps share the link that will give you full background. I mean, I would encourage other women who are looking for job post-maternity. The benefit of joining this ecosystem was I could work from home. Like, I don't have to step out of my house. I had a baby with me, so I could work from home. I had flexible hours. Ethereum works 24/7. So you pick your own hours, doesn't matter. That's what I did.
That's so true. This is the best thing even I love about this, like work from home and complete flexibility. I so much agree with you. And they respect that a lot.
Yeah, there is a question. Can I message you on Telegram and Discord? Yes, please feel free. I think I'm on WIEP Discord as well. If you have a question, you can definitely ask over there. Or if you are a little shy, please DM me. But please do not DM me for prices. I can't tell when Ethereum will go up or down. But yeah, any other question that can help you get into the ecosystem, I'm happy to answer. Yeah, I receive that kind of questions sometime. We are doing good on time.
Pooja, just one thing. Can you please share the YouTube videos? Like I have been going through a lot of videos where you invited people to share about the EIPs, and I found them very useful. So if you could just share the links to those channels, I think they would really help them to better understand.
Yes, I think perhaps Akash can add all the links in the recording of this video. So that will help people to go through all related EIPs conversation that we had in the past.
Yes.
There are so many changes, those are coming up. So we wanted to like keep on evolving on that side. And that's why I didn't want to repeat everything that we have shared in the past.
No, I didn't mean the previous video. I meant the channels. I think the Ethereum cat herders channels. I watched a lot of your YouTube videos where you invited a lot of speakers to speak on the EIPs, and I
Yeah,
found it
right.
very insightful.
Yeah, the any videos, yes, we can share that, the entire playlist. All right, I see another question here. Based on what you said earlier, does it imply that I can also get started by writing technical articles with respect to Ethereum and EIPs? Yes, people would love them. So I share one more piece of information that can perhaps help you get some ideas on what to write and how to write. So I mentioned about these stages of EIPs: proposed for inclusion, scheduled for inclusion, SFI, and what is the CFI? I don't want to say it wrong, so I'm just trying to quickly take a look. Yes, proposed for inclusion, consider for inclusion, scheduled for inclusion. So what happens when there are so many proposals proposed for inclusion? We try to vet it from the community, what community feels about those proposals. As I mentioned, for Glamsterdam, there are like 37 or 38 proposals proposed for inclusion. Now, all these proposals cannot be included. So if you find any particular proposal, any particular EIP very interesting, and you think that that may have more impact in the ecosystem than others, then you pick up that proposal, talk about it, and tell why it is important. Because when you say why it is important, other people will also understand what this proposal is all about and whether they should support it or not. And that ultimately helps core developers to make their decision. So there are going to be different phases of selection of these EIPs, and I believe articles and videos with respect to explaining these proposals are super helpful for developers making decision. I don't know, I would like to ask if anyone has any favorite EIP that they have either read about it or heard about it, and they are like curious or want to know more or share anything.
Pooja, I just heard about EIPs or had a much stronger understanding of EIPs when I joined this cohort. I just used to read about EIPs on internet or on X, and I don't even know what's going on or what that is. So it's here that I'm getting a basic understanding of what EIPs are. Instead, I would love to know about EIPs because I'm just going to ask a question, but then I paused for everyone else to ask because you mentioned so many versions of EIPs. I was like, whoa, wait, there was EIP 7723, and then when you're sharing your slide, I saw EIP 7607, I saw EIP 7594. I was like, okay, when are these EIPs? When did they happen? What are these events? Are others still coming up? How do they come up with these numbers? So me, I'm just understanding EIPs for sure. And any opportunity to learn more about EIPs would be great.
Yeah, right. Everything has a story. So these EIPs also have stories. So EIPs are not from Ethereum ecosystem. You'll be surprised to know that we picked up EIPs from Bitcoin ecosystem. So it was like Bitcoin Improvement Proposal, and our EIP 1 is highly inspired by Bitcoin Improvement Proposal. Bitcoin is also inspired by something called as PEP, Python Enhancement Proposals. So we are learning from the technology. We are evolving, so we are not forgetting what happened in the past. We are basically learning from their experience and trying to improve. So when we started the EIP in Ethereum ecosystem, it was to just make a proposal. So Ethereum as a blockchain is a combination of proposals. Those are deployed on the mainnet. So in my words, these are building blocks for Ethereum ecosystem. We want to advance Ethereum by what? It could be a feature that can make the Ethereum more secure. It could be a feature that can help users to use it even more. And it could be a feature that helps client to get more advanced feature included. So whatever is your idea, if you want that to put it on chain, that has to come through an EIP. That's why we document an EIP. But this documentation also has like a different format because this information is valuable for different set of people. So we try to provide information at one place for all set of peoples. Earlier, the idea of numbering these EIPs were whatever is your PR number, pull request number in Ethereum GitHub repository, Ethereum/EIPs GitHub repository, that is going to be your EIP number. If we would have continued that, we would have like larger EIP numbers than the EIPs which are merged. So at one point, Ethereum developers decided that we are not going to continue the EIP PR number, but we will continue the sequential numbering. So I think it was around 7,000 or 7,500 when we stopped. I'm sorry, please do not quote me on this number. I need to go back and validate when it actually stopped. But at one point it stopped, and from there you can find all these EIPs are sequential. My recommendation to check out this website eipsinsight.com, because there you will find the information of EIPs in a very simple format. I'm trying to take a look and it suggests me that there are total 1038 EIPs. Those are existing. But if you look at the EIP number, those are in 7,000 and 8,000, right? So these PR numbers are not the numbers anymore, but it stopped at one point. Now, I'm sorry. Was there any other question? I totally missed that.
Oh, yes. I just had a question about EIP 8004 since I focus on AI. I followed that closely and I started blogging about that on my Substack, and I got attention from the creators of that EIP. And so I was just wondering if you felt like that EIP 8004 led either indirectly or directly to the formation of the new AI department in Ethereum.
Okay. I think I should mention this. So the EIPs that I talked in my presentation were all on the protocol side, but I believe the EIP that you're talking about here is on the application side. Let me quickly confirm that. Yes, it is an application side proposal. It's called ERC Trustless Agent. So definitely it's a standard that will be implemented by many other projects. It brings a lot of new ideas, and I'm actually looking forward to DevConnect to learn more about it. I believe they have a specific session about this particular proposal. So this is going to be interesting. And yeah, I would love to maybe sometimes talk to authors and bring it for the community, what this proposal brings in the ecosystem. I'm also hoping, okay, I think this is a good point where I can share this piece of information as well. ECH Institute is organizing EIP Summit on 21st of November at DevConnect. You can find the information more on the Luma invite. Yes, Mercy?
No, I just wanted to add something to it. On regards of the EIP 8004, there is actually a group for people that want to contribute in agent or AI related issues to Ethereum. And there is a current hackathon going on, so I can share the group.
I'm a part of all the groups that I just wanted her perspective on it. I was actually going to invite her to that group and ask her to join, but that's okay. Sorry. I just wanted to know her viewpoint on it.
I'm definitely in touch with a couple of creators, and I'm hoping that if we can get someone on EIP Summit, that would be really nice addition to have this conversation over there, to get some more temperature check of what people think about it. But so I was just talking about EIP Summit. It's planned on 21st of November. at DevConnect. If you're around, please join us. We have a good lineup of speakers where we are going to talk about the process from editor's point of view, talk about the proposals which are in discussion, and also hear from the experience of authors, like first-time authors are there, and also from the testing team. A lot of things are there. Like whatever we discussed here today, you would be able to learn more about it.
Thank
And
you so much. Yeah.
8004 is definitely an interesting one that has definitely got my attention.
Thank you.
Yes, a question I have about EIPs would be the relation with RIPs, roll-ups, improvement proposals. Are they related or just two different things handled by two different teams?
They are related in a way that their numbering happens with the same process. So the numbering goes for EIPs, ERCs, and RIPs. No two proposals can have the same number. So yes, in a way they are, but as we understand that RIPs cannot directly be deployed on the mainnet, so some version of RIPs can be deployed, but it has to be converted to an EIP in order to be deployed on the mainnet. I believe we are seeing one of those proposals. There was a proposal called RIP 7212, which was considered at one point of time, but obviously RIP cannot be deployed. So there is a different version of it, which is now getting into Fusaka mainnet. Okay, link to EIP Summit. That's a very good point. Let me try to quickly find this thing. Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you can see, our ERC in focus is still TBC because I'm yet to get confirmation from the author of 8004. No, I think she's an implementer of 8004. If she is available and can join. Yeah. Otherwise, this is a good lineup. And yeah, I believe it's going to be very interesting for people to follow. I was under impression that it's going to be a shorter call, but I'm happy that people are curious. Yeah, that's correct. Yes. So yes, the individual I'm hoping to have on DevConnect is not the author, but she is an implementer. We are just trying to figure out her visa stuff. And if that is confirmed, then we will have her listed here. If not, then we can come up with the podcast version of it. Definitely 8004 is something that people are more interested in learning about. So we will get some form of it out for the community to take in. By the way, that was a good note. She's also a woman. You see, there are so many women trying to contribute in whatever way they can. They don't have to be authored. They can be implemented. They can be promoted. They can be content creators. So there are so many options out there. All right. So if there are no further questions, we can perhaps wrap up the call for today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us here. If you have any further question on the Discord channel, please feel free to ping me or tag me. Thank you, Arunima, Mercy, for providing me this stage. I'm sure you girls are doing a great job here, having all these women around, trying to teach them and enable them to be able to contribute. Yeah, great job over there.
Thanks so much, Pooja. Thanks for this wonderful session. And I think we can wrap up. So bye, everyone. Have a great day ahead. And if you have any questions, you can ask in the Discord, or if you are not comfortable in asking publicly, you can ping me also or Mercy.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.